Have you ever seen someone dig a hole for another person only to fall inside it themselves? Well, today I'm going to tell you how it happened, not with shovels and sand, but with a birthday party, an invitation, and a very expensive gown. Vanessa was a woman who believed men should come with ATM receipts instead of love letters. In her mind, romance was good, but romance without a credit alert was better. Now, Vanessa was about to turn 30, the age where your aunties start looking at you like a carton of milk that is about to expire. She wanted her birthday to be the talk of Lagos, but she wasn't satisfied with just cake, champagne and music. She wanted drama, entertainment and a main character, and she knew exactly who to cast. His name was Chike Wubi. 3 years ago, Chike was her fiancé and also the poorest man in her contact list. She had dumped him without blinking, saying, "Chike, I cannot be in a relationship that looks like a prayer request," and she left him faster than a power cut in rainy season. Now, with her grand birthday coming up at Pearl Garden Hall, she got a wicked idea. What if, she thought, I invite Chike so he can come and see me glowing, surrounded by rich people and looking like the queen he can never touch again. She could already picture it. Chike coming in wearing his old shoes, her pretending to be surprised, sitting her head in fake pity and asking loudly, "Oh, Chike, how are you coping these days?" The thought made her feel so satisfied. She typed the message slowly like a chef adding pepper to soup. "Hi Chike, it's been so long. I am having my 30th birthday at Pearl Garden Hall next month. It will be so nice to catch up. Hope you can make it." She hit send, leaning back, and then she whispered to herself, "Perfect. This will be the highlight of my birthday party." 3 years ago, back when Vanessa and Chike were still dating, the relationship looked peaceful from the outside, but inside it was a ticking time bomb. Chike was a good man and a kind man, the type of man who would give you the last piece of meat in his pot even though he still needed it. But he had one very dangerous flaw in Vanessa's eyes. He was broke. Not just ordinary broke, but the kind of broke that would check his account balance before buying airtime. One day, Vanessa went to visit him in his tiny one-room apartment in Surulere. It was so small that if you stretch your arms, you could touch both walls at the same time. The fan made a noise like it was clearing its throat. The curtains had seen better days. In fact, better decades. Chike was sitting on the floor surrounded by pieces of fabric, a sewing machine and a notebook full of sketches. His dream was to start his own luxury men's fashion brand. He looked up with excitement when Vanessa walked in. "Babe, come and see this new suit design I drew. One day I will dress governors, presidents and even international stars." Vanessa looked at the sketch, not in admiration but in pity. The type of pity a rich person gives a beggar who just said they will buy land in the heart of Lagos. "Chike," she began slowly, "do you know what month it is?" He answered with that same excitement of someone sharing his dream with his fiancée. "It's August, babe." "Exactly," she said, throwing her hands up. 8 months this year and your dream is still on paper. Paper does not pay rent, my dear, and paper will not buy me Brazilian hair. Chike laughed, trying to lighten the mood. "Babe, just give me a little more time. I am working on a breakthrough." Vanessa folded her arms. "Chike, I am not a prayer warrior and I cannot keep fasting for this relationship to turn into money. I need action and not ambition." Chike set down his sketchbook. His laugh faded now. "So, what are you saying?" he asked. Vanessa sighed dramatically like an actress picking up her handbag. "I am saying that I cannot continue managing. Love is sweet, but love without money is like tea without sugar. It is useless. And just like that, she adjusted her wig in the cracked mirror and walked out. Chike sat there for a long time after she left, staring at the half-finished suit on the table. From that day, Vanessa told her friends she was finally free. She started dating men with luxury cars and fat wallets, while Chike faded into the background of her memory like an old forgotten contact on her phone. Little did she know, the forgotten contact was about to reappear in her life, not in the way she expected, but in a way that would make her 30th birthday go down in history. Chike on his part didn't chase her. He didn't cry in the streets or kneel in the rain like some men who had lost themselves to love. Instead, something inside him snapped and made him very focused. He decided two things that day. He would never beg anyone to stay in his life again, and the next time Vanessa would see him, she would need sunglasses to look at his success, so he doubled his hustle. At first, life didn't magically change. He still had the same small apartment, the same noisy fan, and the same old sewing machine, but he walked like a man who had an appointment with destiny and didn't want to be late. He took tailoring jobs nobody else wanted. He started fixing torn trousers, resizing old suits, even sewing choir robes for churches. But every job he did was perfect because he knew that one satisfied customer could bring 5 more. Then one day, a miracle happened. A popular TV presenter needed a suit urgently for an award show. Someone recommended Chike. She gave him just 48 hours. Chike worked day and night, surviving on bread and malt, and when she wore that suit on live TV, social media went wide. Who made that suit? Everyone wanted to know. That night, Chike's phone nearly overheated from calls. Others poured in like rainy season flood water. In less than a year, Chike went from the boy in Surulere to the proud owner of Maxine Obi, a luxury men's fashion brand. He dressed CEOs, senators, and even a Nollywood superstar who insisted Chike travel with him to London just to fix his wedding suit. By the second year, Chike's life didn't just improve, it upgraded. He swapped the old noisy fan to central air conditioning. The one-room apartment was gone. Now he had a duplex in Lekki with a walk-in closet bigger than his old bedroom. And he got a sleek Rolls-Royce Phantom, black and shiny like he just upgraded from Harvard. But the best part, he wasn't just richer. He was more humble, more confident, and he carried himself like a man who knew he was worth more than any insult thrown at him in the past. One evening, as he returned from Paris Men's Fashion Week, he scrolled through his messages, and that was when he saw it. A new message from an old name. Hi Chike, it's been so long. I'm having my 30th birthday at Pearl Garden Hall next month. It will be so nice to catch up. Hope you can make it. He read it twice, and then he remembered that afternoon in his tiny apartment when she had told him she couldn't be in a relationship that looked like a prayer request. He remembered the way she had walked out without looking back. Now, here she was, inviting him to her big day, pretending it was about catching up. Chike shook his head. This is not just an invitation, this is a trap. But one beautiful thing about this trap is that sometimes the hunter forgets that the lion also knows how to act like a goat. He didn't reply immediately. He thought that would be too eager, so he waited for 3 days and sent a short message. Thank you for the invite. I will try to make it. Then he picked up his phone and called Amira, his fiancée. Amira was a former Miss Africa, now a successful interior designer. She had beauty, brains, and a wardrobe that could silence a noisy room. Babe, Chike said, how do you feel about attending the birthday party with me next month? Whose party? She asked. Chike paused just long enough to make it dramatic. My past. And she agreed after he explained to her. That alone made his day, and he leaned back into his seat and whispered, My dear Vanessa, you just booked the front row for your own shock. Vanessa booked Pearl Garden Hall, a place so fancy that even the chandeliers looked like they paid rent. The hall was on Victoria Island, overlooking the lagoon, with glass walls that made it perfect for the kind of peppermint party that she wanted. When she walked in with the event decorator to inspect, "I want flowers everywhere," she said, pointing like a queen giving orders. "Pink roses, white orchids, and make it smell like success." The decorator said okay politely. Vanessa wanted a royal glam theme. She chose a wine-red mermaid gown with crystals that sparkled so much that everyone who stayed too long would think they were seeing angels. Her makeup artist was instructed to make her look expensive but in a humble way. Her guest list was the real strategy. She invited all her rich friends and, of course, Chike. She imagined the moment he would walk in wearing his usual cheap shoes, and then she would say loudly, "Oh, Chike, it's been ages. How is life and your Obioma work?" And he, Chike, would shrink in embarrassment. The day before her birthday, she was in full diva mood. She tested her gown 3 times, practiced walking down the hall like a slow-motion movie scene, and even rehearsed her fake surprise face in the mirror. By the time she went to bed, she was so sure of one thing. Tomorrow, she was going to be the queen, and Chike would be her entertainment. And I am here saying, if only she knew what was driving towards Pearl Garden Hall the next day, she would have cancelled the whole event and switched off her phone. Chike quietly made his own arrangements. A custom-made suit from his own brand, tailored so perfectly. A diamond-studded watch that would only whisper success to anyone who saw it. And for Amira, a silk champagne gown with a slit that said elegance. When the day finally came, Chike stood in front of his mirror, adjusting his confidence. He wasn't going there to shout or to boast. He was going there for one thing only, which is to let his presence do all the talking. Vanessa arrived early, not because she was nervous, but because a queen must inspect her palace before the guests arrive. She wore her mermaid gown. Her makeup was flawless, and her hair was weaved down her back like it had signed a modeling contract. By 8 p.m., the hall was bubbling. Music from the celebrity DJ shook the floor. Friends hugged, clicked glasses and snapped selfies in front of the flower wall. Vanessa floated around the room like a hostess from a high society movie, greeting people with a smile that said, "Yes, I am still better than you." Every time someone complimented her, she laughed and touched her hair. The universal sigh for "I know I am looking amazing." But while she smiled and posed, her eyes kept flicking towards the main door. Her cousin Titi was stationed at the welcome desk with her phone ready to send the secret text. The mission was simple. The moment Chike walks in, Titi should alert Vanessa so she would position herself under the perfect light. Vanessa imagined it already. She would be laughing with a group of rich friends when Titi's text would come. She would turn slowly, look surprised and say loudly, "Chike, oh my goodness, look at you." The whole hall would go quiet and she would watch him shrink like a cheap shirt in hot weather. But as the minutes passed, there was no sign of him. 9 p.m. Still nothing. 9:20 p.m. Vanessa was beginning to wonder if he would come at all. Then, at exactly 9:30 p.m., her phone beeped. She looked at the screen. "It is here, but you will not believe this." Vanessa's heart leapt. She quickly excused herself from the group, walked to her perfect spot under the light and struck her best elegant pose, holding her wine glass. The music kept playing, but something strange was happening. The noise in the hall started to drop. People were turning towards the door, murmuring and pulling out their phones. Vanessa smiled, thinking, "Yes, it is starting." And there came a try. It was starting indeed, but not the way she had planned. The red carpet outside Pearl Garden Hall had already seen a parade of luxury cars that evening. G-Wagons, Range Rovers, Lexus, even SUVs. But at 9:30 p.m., something different happened. First, three black SUVs rolled in and stopped with military precision. Security men stepped out in matching suits with sunglasses on at night, like they were auditioning for Men in Black. Then, a Rolls-Royce Phantom glided in like it wasn't driving but floating. Its polished black body reflected the street light so perfectly that you could check your makeup in it. The driver slowed down at the entrance as if to give the crowd time to admire it. Then, he finally opened the door and Chike didn't step out immediately. First, it was a black Italian leather shoe that touched the carpet. Then came the rest of him. This was not the Chike Vanessa remembered. Gone was the man with the struggling beard and cheap shirts. Standing before everyone was a tall, broad-shouldered man in a suit so sharp. His beard were now neat and intentional. His skin glowed like it had been moisturized with imported honey, and he walked with the calm confidence of someone who knew he was the main event. And of course, he was not alone. From the other side of the Rolls Royce, a woman stepped out. They didn't rush. They strolled towards the hall slowly, allowing enough time for every phone in the area to start recording. Guests near the entrance suddenly remembered they needed fresh air just so they could be outside to witness the arrival. "Who is that?" murmurs began. "Wait, is that Chike?" "No way, that's not the same Chike." Some people were already sending live updates on WhatsApp. Others were elbowing their friends, whispering like they were just seeing royalty. The birthday DJ without warning switched the background song to something smooth and dramatic, almost as if the music itself wanted to greet Chike. Meanwhile, Vanessa stood in her perfect spot under the light, holding her wine glass, smiling like a cat, waiting for a mouse. But as Chike and Amira walked in, the crowd shifted their attention so completely that Vanessa realized something horrifying. Nobody was looking at her anymore. Her smile twitched. She adjusted her dress. She tried to laugh loudly to pull attention back, but no one cared. The entrance had been stolen, and stolen so perfectly that it didn't look like theft. It looked like destiny. By the time Chike reached the center of the hall, people were greeting him like a celebrity. Even the waiters paused to stare. And Vanessa was about to learn that when life brings back someone you looked down on, sometimes it brings them back standing taller than you can ever reach. She took a deep breath and walked toward him. Each step felt heavier than the last. She had rehearsed this moment a dozen times, but in her rehearsals, Chike was still the broke man from Solere. Now, the reality standing before her was not that man. This Chike was the kind of man whose presence made even rich people check their account balance twice. "Chike," she said, her voice high-pitched with fake excitement. "Oh my goodness! Chike, it's been ages!" The guy just said, "Vanessa, happy birthday." Before she could say anything else, Chike gently placed a hand on Amira's back and said, "This is my fiancée, Amira. And Amira, meet Vanessa, an old friend." Old friend, not SO and not former love of my life, just old friend. The walls were like high heels stepping on Vanessa's ego. Amira gave a polite, genuine smile. "Happy birthday, Vanessa. Chike had told me about you and it's so lovely to meet you." Vanessa's smile wobbled, but she forced a laugh. "Oh, congratulations to you both." "Thank you," Chike replied, still calm. By now, a small circle had formed around them. People were smiling, listening and pretending to be casual while clearly enjoying the tension. Vanessa tried to steer the conversation back to herself. "So Chike, what are you doing these days?" she asked. Chike's answer was smooth and humble, which somehow made it worse. "I run Maxinobi, the luxury men's fashion brand. We are expanding into Europe next year. Just got back from Paris, actually. Vanessa's throat suddenly felt dry. This was supposed to be her night. She had planned to shine in front of him. Now it felt like she was just one of the guests at Chike's red carpet appearance. Chike glanced at his watch and smiled again. Not at her, but at Mira. Shall we get a drink? And just like that, they turned and walked toward the bar, still surrounded by people eager to talk to them. Vanessa stood frozen for a moment, still holding her wine glass, trying to keep her smile in place while her stomach flipped like a pancake. The only thing louder than the music was the sound of her plant crumbling. She managed to gather herself, but deep inside she was still bleeding. She told herself it was fine. It's my birthday and I am the queen here. But she had no idea that the next 5 minutes will make her crown slip completely. At exactly 10:15 p.m., the celebrity MC's voice boomed over the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have your attention please? It's time to hear from some of Vanessa's special guests before we cut the cake. Everyone clapped. Vanessa's plan was to have a few of her rich friends say nice things about her, so she could stand there smiling like a goddess. Then the MC added, and first, let's hear from the one and only Mr. Chike Obi. The hall erupted in cheers. Chike Obi Odogo, everyone hailed. Vanessa felt so cold. She hadn't planned this. Chike rose from his seat with the ease of a man who had nothing to prove. He adjusted his suit, bowed politely to the people around him, and strolled to the stage with Amira by his side. Things shut up instantly. Not to record Vanessa's birthday cake, but to record him. Even the waiter stopped moving. The barman leaned on the counter. It was as if the whole hall knew something interesting was about to happen. He took the microphone and looked directly at Vanessa. His voice was smooth, confident, and just loud enough for everyone to hear without straining. First of all, happy birthday, Vanessa. That looks so good on you, and thank you for inviting me. I mean, it's always good to celebrate life. Vanessa exhaled slightly as this wasn't so bad. Then Chike continued. You know, standing here tonight reminds me of something. Sometimes in life, people walk away from you and at that time it might hurt. But what you don't realize is, sometimes they are not walking away from you. They are walking out of the way so that your blessings can find you faster. The crowd reacted instantly. True! Preach, Odogu! Chike smiled for a few seconds, letting the words hang in the air before adding, so to everyone here, I would like to tell you this. Don't be afraid when people leave you because God might just be clearing the path for something better. Look at me, I am a living proof. The applause was loud. Some people even stood up to clap. Guests exchanged knowing looks and a few whispered to each other. He's talking about her. Vanessa's face was still set in a smile, but her eyes were screaming for the DJ to start playing music again. Chike handed the mic back to the MC, gave Vanessa a polite bow and walked back to his seat with Amira. And right there, Vanessa realized she wasn't the star of the night anymore. She was just the stage for someone else's spotlight. Everywhere she turned, people were whispering or sneaking glances at Chike and Amira like they were the real celebrities of the night. The DJ tried to revive the birthday girl's energy by playing her favorite song. She swayed, posed for a few pictures and even tried to laugh extra loudly, but it was like clapping in front of a fireworks show because nobody noticed. When it was finally time to cut the cake, Vanessa tried to regain control. She took the mic and began her thank you speech, but the room was distracted. Half the guests were still talking about Chike's entrance and some were strolling through videos of his arrival just to show others. Even when the MC said, "It's time to cut the cake," the loudest cheer came not from the crowd but from the group standing near Chike. Vanessa cut the cake, posed for the photographers and tried to make it look like she was in control, but she could feel it that the attention had shifted and she couldn't get it back. At 11:30 p.m., Chike decided it was time to leave. He stood up slowly, shook hands with a few guests and placed a gentle hand on Amira's back as they walked towards the exit. It was as if a royal couple was leaving a gala. Security cleared the way. Guests stopped them to greet or take quick selfies. Even the DJ lowered the music for a moment and said into the mic, "Good night, Mr. Obi." Vanessa's head turned automatically. She saw him glance in that direction, give a small polite nod like someone acknowledging an acquaintance, not the woman he had once loved. And then he was gone. The room felt colder somehow. Vanessa looked around. Guests were buzzing, but the conversations weren't about her birthday. They were about him. She took a sip of her champagne, but it tasted flat. She had spent millions on this party, planned every detail to humiliate Chike, only for the script to flip into the most spectacular way. Her last thoughts before forcing another smile was simple. I should have been the one in that sit down beside him. And that was how a birthday meant for revenge turned into a free advertising campaign for the very man it was supposed to embarrass. The humiliation didn't stay at the hall. It followed Vanessa home like a stubborn shadow. That night, she lay in bed replaying the entrance over and over again. The black phantom leading to a stop. The security men stepping out first. Chike's suit and Amira's gown shining under the lights. She turned, tossed and finally grabbed her phone. Her fingers moved so fast to Instagram as she typed at Max Sonobi. She just wanted to see what he's been up to, but one stroll led to another. She saw when he was in Paris shaking hands with an Italian designer. She saw when he was in Dubai and on a magazine cover headline boldly written, "From Taylor, popularly known as Obioma, to Africa's luxury king." She kept on strolling, and the more she saw, the heavier her chest felt. If I had waited, she thought, if I had just believed in him, maybe, just maybe. In the days that followed, David, her boyfriend, noticed the change. She laughed less as she replied late. When he talked about their plans, she drifted off into silence. She wasn't daydreaming about getting Chike back, but what haunted her was the life she could have been living, the life that now belonged to another woman. It made her withdraw from David without even realizing it, as if nothing around her could measure up to the image now stuck in her mind. One night, she closed her laptop after reading yet another interview with Chike. She sat there and it hit her hard. She had once heard the winning tickets and she had thrown it away before the draw. Now, she was just part of the audience watching the prize in someone else's hands, and she lived the rest of her life in regrets, that kind of regrets that doesn't fade. Hey African Tales by Karma Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. Before I leave, I would like to say this. Never you measure a person only by where they are today. Life has a strange way of turning small beginnings into great endings. The man or woman you dismiss as so small now may be the same person you will need to book an appointment to see tomorrow. If you must leave a relationship, let it be for the right reasons, not because you are blinded by what you see in the moment. I want to tell you that people grow, dreams mature, and time can turn what you called nothing into something you can't afford. Most importantly, never look down on someone who truly loves you. It is better to walk away quietly and respectfully than to plant humiliation in their hearts, because when life flips the table, the same eyes you once looked down on will look at you from a higher seat. My dear Karma Tribe, choose patience, choose respect, and remember that gold often looks like dust before it is polished. Now tell me, if you were in Vanessa's shoes, will you swallow your pride and sincerely congratulate Chike? And if you were in Chike's shoes, will you have attended at all or ignore the invitation completely? Let me read from you in the comments and also tell me your highlights from this story. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you have not. Until I bring another interesting story your way, it's a goodbye from here and God bless you.